the average is like 2% success on cold calls, but 70% of people essentially will accept it when they feel it's relevant to their needs, right? That sounds like no duh, but cut all the crap and get straight to their needs, man. Welcome to the Maven Marketing Podcast. Today is Maven Monday. I'm your host, Brandon Welch, and I'm here with Caleb. How many hours of sleep have you had this week, AG?
I've been doing pretty good, honestly. We've got a baby in the house, but she freaked us out. You remember when your baby slept all night long the first time?
Yeah, and then they don't.
And you wake up and you're like, oh, is she okay?
Yeah.
We did that.
Yeah, that.
We literally did that this week, but
nice.
I'm thinking it's the first of many, so I'm going to sleep a lot.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying?
Good.
Yeah.
In the spirit of love, we had a faithful listener point out that I looked pretty tired last week.
Oh,
and I was.
I didn't know.
Because I had just got back from 17 hours of driving, and I think I got 4 hours that night, and then we did the podcast the next day. So I just want to apologize. You deserve better than that.
Yeah.
Not that there's a whole lot to work with here, but listen, you deserve my best, and you didn't get it, but it was a good episode.
I think we've got a face for radio.
Yeah.
Or a face for podcast.
Face for podcast, yeah.
So,
hey, this is the place where we answer your real-life marketing questions so you can eliminate waste in advertising, grow your business, and achieve the big dream. And we have 15 big dream bullets for you today.
Yeah.
We were doing some consulting. We do sales training events. We do, some strategic planning events for companies that we love to do that. It's on mission for us. And put me back into the just research mode of the modern state of sales. And it's worse than I thought.
Yeah. Harder
rough
than
out
it
there.
was.
Yeah. And so what's happening is that this idea of, there's a market that is ready to buy. That's just a fewer and farther between in any given category.
Mm-hmm.
People require more hand-holding, more pursuit in this season that we've been in, and maybe that we're going to be in. And so we just gathered these, and they were like some of the biggest takeaways from our time with this company that we did this strategic engagement for. And I was like, you know what? Our audience needs to hear that.
Yeah.
So without further ado, today is 15 sales stats that will make you a better pro.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to just jump right into it.
Yeah.
And we'll cite our sources so you can go read more if you'd like. We're not just making these up.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it was Abraham Lincoln who said you can't trust everything you read on the internet.
But you can trust everything you hear on this podcast.
Yeah. So Here we go. Number 1, 80% of sales require 5 follow-up phone calls after the meeting. 80%.
So
4 out of 5
yeah.
of your sales appointments.
I've talked to some salespeople this week that literally were like, man, those leads didn't work out, or they didn't, there's just a poor performance in December and or the first part of January. And that was the thing I asked. And it was like, well, I called him, and it came out to like 2 follow-up points of contact for like the last 10 sales with this salesperson. And I'm like, think about how you buy. That's a really good filter for all this. Like, think about what it takes you to get you across the finish line. Like, all the way from, I don't think I'm going to do that, to maybe I'll do that, to I think I'm interested, like just that journey. It's at least 5 follow-up phone calls, right?
Yep.
So that's from Invesp.
Yeah.
That is a sales research organization. Number 2, with that, 44% of salespeople give up after 1 follow-up call. It takes at least 5, yet we're giving up after 1.
Yeah. Or
your people are giving up after 1.
You can find the challenge in that hopefully you're in the majority, not the minority. Yeah. But also realize that if you're in competition in your sales, if they're shopping you with other people, be the one that gets to 5. And statistically, you will be more likely to get that sale.
Yep.
So,
I've got a sales professional, like he's like Sandler level, like trained, and he's on me right now. And I bet I've gotten 16 emails from him and phone calls, and somehow he got hold of my number, and he's good. And you know what? Eventually I'm going to talk to him. Mm-hmm. I don't have any intention in this moment to buy what he's doing, but I'm going to talk to him. Because I'm impressed,
He's
right?
earned it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
The effort.
Yeah. I don't think he's been pushy, right? He's persistent. And there's a line where it crosses from like annoying to like impressive to like, okay, that's admirable that you're pursuing me this hard, right?
Yeah.
Yep. What's number 3, Caleb?
Number 3, the average salesperson only makes 2 attempts to reach a prospect.
Wow. Yeah, that would be
that's from
in line
HubSpot.
with the
That's from HubSpot.
Yeah.
That's again just reinforcing the follow-up.
Yeah.
Only 2 attempts.
Number 4, addressing pain points. 49% of cold calls are successful when the sales rep mentions a specific challenge or pain point relevant to the prospect. Versus, hey, Caleb, I just wonder if we get together for coffee, right?
Yeah.
That's what a lot of salespeople are just trying to get together with you, right? And we don't got time for that as an American public. So if you just say, hey, are you having a hard time recruiting, video guys right now?
Oh my God.
What's up, Carter the camera guy? Carter the camera guy is a guest today.
Yeah.
But are you having a hard time entering, data for your, billing cycle or whatever? Like, what is the pain point you think you can solve? Just mentioning that. And it's like, no duh. But like that one hack, according to this, gets you about a 50% better chance.
Wow.
Of setting the appointment.
Yeah.
Clarity.
Right? Yeah. That was from Bigly Sales.
Bigly Sales.
Number 5, 93% of the potential success of your cold call is attributed to the tone of your voice during the conversation. Did you know that you can hear a smile?
You can hear a smile, man. Let me tell you what.
And you can also hear a frown. It's pretty wild.
Just the tone of the voice. It's just, that's why a lot of sales trainers put the mirror up in front of you. And you know what? It changes your psychology too. It changes the muscles firing. It's actually easier to smile. It takes less muscles, right? We all know that. So smile, just tone of voice.
Yeah. Smile while you type too. That's not a vocal exercise, but if you smile while you type, it changes the tone of your email too.
There's an OG Frankly Friday about that somewhere. Number 6, it takes approximately 1.5 hours of cold calling to secure one appointment. Now think about this. Everybody puts cold calling off. It's a failure point. It doesn't feel good to get told no or to get, to the dead end of 60 phone lines. But if you just had in your mind, okay, I have a 40-hour week or I have 20 hours, I'm going to make calls this week. And if I consistently do that for 20 hours, I'm going to end up with about, 15 calls in this case.
Yeah.
But I think that's sobering just to say, okay, that's what it takes. So set your expectation, but it's also like encouraging because it's like, hey, if you've been doing this for an hour, your call's coming, like your appointment's coming, right?
It's coming
now. Now there's a lot of industries I would argue like that's from Retorio, and they train like they have a customer service tool that goes over a lot of industries. So I would say if you're more of an expert driven company, that would have to be lower, I would think. But still, it's not unreasonable. Don't say nobody answers. It's just you haven't called enough people.
You haven't called enough. You haven't spent enough time. All right. Number 7, opening a cold call with "How have you been?" has a 600% higher success rate than the average call.
That's from Gong.
Yes.
Also a sales training tool.
600% is pretty wild.
That's instead of saying,
hey,
just
wanted to check in with you. Just want to follow up.
Just want to follow up with you. Yeah. Gag me, right? It's like, hey, Caleb, how you been?
And just let me talk.
What principle are we like utilizing there?
Well, I'm not sure which one you're driving at this particular moment.
Well, it's about you. Yeah, it's the most seductive word in advertising is you, right?
Empathy.
How have you been, right? Empathy, curiosity. Just do that. Hey, Carter, how you been? It implies that we've met each other, even if we haven't. But even if it doesn't, it's not like pretending like you've met each other, right? It's a friendly way to talk.
Yep.
How about 69% of buyers accept cold calls when they feel the solution being pitched is relevant to their needs? So you take it from that really low average. The average is like 2% success on sales or on cold calls, but like 70% of people essentially will accept it when they feel it's relevant to their needs, right? That sounds like no duh, but like cut all the crap and get straight to their needs, man.
Yeah.
Right?
interesting thing you can pay attention to is if you started with, how have you been? You know what their needs are. You can empathize with where they are mentally and who they are and all of that. So interesting thing. We're not trying to manipulate anybody or anything like that.
Just good old fashioned empathy.
Empathy.
Right?
Understand who they are.
Yeah.
And understand how you can help them.
Yeah.
So number 9, 76% of top sales performers, 76% of all of the top sales performers say they perform research before calling their leads, compared to 47% of average salespeople perform research.
Yeah. So the top guys are performing research. The average guys aren't.
Yeah.
And the takeaway is do research. Like you could be in B2B, I think that's pretty obvious. Like look at the website, look at the LinkedIn profile, find out what this person's history has been, look at the Twitter feed and see if they've been complaining about something, see what they've been sharing on LinkedIn. If you can get it on the personal realm of any kind, like just use your context clues. In the B2C world, we talked about like researching might just literally be looking at what zip code they live in, where their kids might go to school, what sports team they might have a bumper sticker for on their car. And research can be like done on a website with an intake form. Like, are you asking enough questions to qualify, not just qualify, but like, meet the first interaction with some value. Gives you like a 26, 27, 28 points on your increased likelihood of that average success.
Yeah,
right?
That's right.
Yeah. How about number 10?
Number 10. It's your turn.
It's my turn.
You got it.
It takes an average of 8 cold calls to reach a prospect first. Did you know that?
I do now. That's from sellingsignals.com. 8 cold calls to reach a prospect.
And we already learned earlier, most people give up after 1.
Yep. And that you need to spend an hour and a half to get one to pick up.
Yeah. So if you can just tune your mindset to go, that one call wasn't a failure. That was like, cool, cross it off the list. I know on average I got to do 7 more. And it's like you can still get a little bit of excitement for it, right? Make a little game out of it. It's like, when I get to 8, okay, maybe my last one answered on 2, and this one might take me till 12, but I'm going to keep track of my average. When I was in essentially B2B sales, I kept a log, and it wasn't any more sophisticated than a legal pad. And I just wrote down the notes of when I called, when they answered, or if I happened to stop by, when they happened to be there. And then I would make my rounds and get back to that person at the same time, same place. I would just keep a log of all the times that I had done that, so I knew where I was. I used the math to go, okay, my average. I haven't even hit my average, so I can't complain or feel bad about it.
Yeah. Number 11, Wednesday and Thursday between 10 a.m. and 12 p.m. and 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. are the best times to cold call for B2B. So if you're in B2B, this is a very specific statistic. It's from HubSpot, so that is a pretty credible source there. Wednesday and Thursday, 10 to noon, and 4 to 5, end of the day or middle of the day, essentially, are the best times to cold call.
With a little empathy, I think you would come to this conclusion with some common sense that most people are really busy on Mondays. Most people are really tired and ready to get to the weekend on Fridays, and that would be a horrible, experience to have to wait a weekend to get back to the follow-up call. Tuesday, a lot of business being done still. So Wednesdays and Thursdays are kind of midweek. There's a little slump. There's a little bit of, maybe lack of, overstimulation there. And so in those times of day, it's like 8 a.m. is always business time. 4 to 5 is I'm kind of like, maybe my tank's empty of focus, and I would be open to a distraction from a salesperson, right?
Yeah.
So use some common sense and empathy, even if you're not in the B2B world. Number 12 is 92% of all customer interactions happen on the phone. This is important to me because I feel like the younger the workforce gets, like the less they are attached to a time where phone calls were the thing you had to communicate with. And I'm not trying to be like, an old man.
Yeah. Calm down, Grandpa.
About these dang kids. But hey, it's true. And like real business and a lot of your decision makers are still from a generational gap where the phone and the tone of voice and that connection was the way. I would also argue that you get like a million more signals when you're talking to somebody on the phone from from pace, from do they pause, from their excitement level. You can hear what's going on in the background. You get a lot more data than sending an email or a text where it's just like it's open to their interpretation. And so our rule over here is like when it's anything of consequence, call, pick up the dang phone, and follow up with an email for a
paper trail,
and then also clarity, and it also promotes some professionalism. But
maybe loops everybody else in too if there are more parties.
Lots of great things that can happen with email. But dude,
pick up the phone.
Go where the energy and the activity is on the phone.
That was from Salesforce. I don't know if I said that, but number 13, continuous training gives a 50% higher net sales per employee. That's from Dually.ai.
If you're a business owner and you clicked on this going, oh yeah, I'm going to get some, I'm going to send this to my salespeople and I'm going to, fire them up.
Forward it.
I'm
say,
like,
watch this.
Here's the mirror, buddy. Like, are you doing sales training? Because there's your gains. 50% higher. Just focus. These weren't hard statistics to find. There are a gazillion videos on YouTube. All the better if you have a consistent training program and you have some agendas and some like specific objectives, but they don't have to be rocket science. Just get together for 30 minutes a week and do some training. Either talk about prospects, talk about products, talk about next steps, talk about overcoming objections, talk about pricing. Even just that focus will help. What's number 14?
Number 14, the most successful cold callers convey their value within 5 minutes.
Yeah, I would say that's even too long.
I was going to say that feels
5
long.
minutes, yeah.
Uplead is the source for that.
Yeah. I think it's like the reason I'm calling today is because I think I can help you improve this profit center. The reason I'm calling today is that I have a track record of helping families get 10 to 15% more out of whatever. I have a track record of whatever it is. Then you have my attention, right?
Yeah.
So you get them out of relational, hot air mode and into contemplating and imagining what your partnership could look like.
That's right.
Number 15, last statistic that you need to take into your new year to make you a better sales pro. Wouldn't you know it, sales reps who listen more than they talk have a much higher success rate, with the ideal balance being 57 listening to 43% talking. That seems low to me, but this financesonline.com diced it out, and that's like the best balance they found.
That's
listening
so
to some calls. Yeah, finances
57 and 43.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna take that home and be like, hey, listen, I know I've been talking more like 55 or listening 55% of the time. I'm gonna try to kick that up to 57% listening. 2 ears, one mouth, right? That's how we were designed. It's how we're made. Just do it. And sometimes it's not waiting your turn to talk. I was watching a really, really good interviewer. That's something I'm trying to do, is study good interviewers and podcast hosts last night. Rick Beato. And he has like some of the most famous, coolest musician guys on this podcast. But he comes with that research, but he's asking very pointed questions, but then he's repeating what they said back to them. So anyway, listen more than you talk. Guys, we wanted to just give you a quick boost in that department. Like, it's tougher than it has been. That's the takeaway.
It has been.
The headwinds aren't gone. But usually getting better results is just a matter of deciding to do so and putting a little bit extra intensity and focus on your follow-ups and that empathy and curiosity that comes inside the call.
Yeah. The danger when we have a season of abundance is that we get used to it. And when things get hard, we're not ready for the work that it takes to put in. And I don't think things are getting harder, but I think relatively they're just going back to a place where they've been before, which is where the customer likes to see effort. They like to see you work. Yeah. They like to see you care about them. And the one who does the most will win the sale.
Awesome. So. Yes. So it's a short episode. Hopefully it's a good episode for you. And we'll be back here every Monday answering your real life marketing questions. Because marketers who can't teach you why
are just a fancy lie.
Have a great week.